Slow motion better than no motion.
Slow motion.
Yeah. Talking about the street, man, I came from it. Talking about the trenches, man, I came from it. Talking about the streets, I got the game from it. Talking about the trench, I got my name from it. Hey, talking about the trenches, man, I came from it. Talking about the streets, I got the game from it. Talking about the trenches, everything came from it. Talking about the streets, I got my name from it. Got my name from it. Talking about the hood, man, I came from it. Talking about the streets, I got the game from it. You talking about the streets, I got my name from it. Yeah, got my name from it. If you talking about the streets, man, I came from it. I was hanging around the thug, hanging with the junkies. I was out there on the block, my clip, hold on, honey. Yeah, robbers, scammers, shooters, plotters. Hang around the rosters, hang around them shutters. FNs, Simmons, Glocks, and choppers. No, we don't know who got them. No, we don't know who shot them. Hey, had to turn from the evil. Hey, I will hurt my people. Man, that's all I see. A brother in jail or a RIP. Hey, gotta turn from evil. Hey, stop hurting your people. Man, that's all I see. A brother in jail or a RIP. Talking about the street, man, I came from it. Talking about the trenches, man, I came from it. Talking about the streets, I got the game from it. Talking about the trench, I got my name from it. Hey, talking about the trenches, man, I came from it. Talking about the streets, I got the game from it. Talking about the trenches, everything came from it. Talking about the streets, I got my name from it. Got my name from it. Talking about the hood, man, I came from it. Talking about the streets, I got the game from it. You talking about the streets, I got my name from it.
Gotta turn from evil. Stop hurting your people. Young man, all I see, brother in jail or RIP. Gotta turn from evil. Stop hurting your people. Man, that's all I see, brother in jail or RIP.
Hey, shalom, shalom. Shalom, good people. Welcome to the Weigh House, man. This is the Weigh House, brought to you by Saints Advocating Law and Truth. I am the salt of the earth. You are the salt of the earth. Every sacrifice being a sweet savor to the Most High God. All praise to the Most High God, man. This episode 6 of the Weigh House, man, where we get into all type of stuff, man. We get into international news, domestic news, false doctrines, heresies, theology, our community as a people, issues and solutions, and just try to keep the people up to date with what's going on, prophecies and whatnot, and keep the people edified, man. It's a lot of stuff going on out here, man. It's a lot of stuff. Hey, it's hot. Information is hot right now, on fire right now. Listen, man, it's a lot of stuff going on. I got a lot of videos we're going to get into. We're going to dissect some things. We're going to talk about some things, man. But first, I want to give our praises to the Most High God in the name of his son, Christ, whose name is Yahushua in the Hebrew. Without them, none of this would be possible. None of the edification, none of the resources, none of the ability through the Spirit, man. We do this. So all praises to the Most High in the name of His Son, man. We're gonna get straight to it. I'm not wasting no time, man, because it's a lot, and I'm gonna try to keep this thing under an hour. I'm flipping script. It's so much stuff going on right now, right? We had the stock market, so-called do a limbo. The stock market just limboed. Uh, we got Iran and Israel about to go toe to toe. Iran pointing the finger at the U.S. They sending troops. We got protests going on internationally, civil unrest going on. Uh, man, we got America at division with one another about this political race. It's a lot of stuff going on, man. I'm gonna open it up with let's see. This is the book of Second Ezra. This is chapter 15, right? This is in the Apocrypha. You know what I'm saying? This is the Weigh House. We weigh everything in a balance, man. You gotta have your, you know what I'm saying? Wrong way. You gotta have your trusty sword. You know, you can't go to war without your sword, man. It's 1611 with the Apocrypha in it, and it's beat up because this thing get used. It's been bloody in battle, man. And mark that thing up. Mark it up. Write your precepts down. But yeah, this is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 15, and I will start at I'll start at verse 14. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell in it." Woe means destruction, right? Destruction, death, horror, pain, and suffering. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. So these things are coming to pass, right? We can go to Matthew 24, rumors of wars and wars, right? Famine, pestilence, all of these things, these beginning of sorrows, right? It says that, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands, right? It's people going to war, people going to battle. For there should be sedition among men and invading one another. That's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing sedition among men, right? We're seeing division, group against group. We're seeing nations against nations. We're seeing um, domestic, international protests, riots, burnings of cities, civil unrest. That's what we're seeing. A sedition. There should be sedition among men, and it says they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So they're not going to bow down and submit to the authority. The kings and the princes represent the authorities, and we're gonna see that, man. This is happening, man. This is happening. It says, "A man shall desire to go into the city and shall not be able, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their house with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation." Right? It's going to come to pass, right? That famine, that pestilence, a great tribulation. All right, hold that. I'm gonna hold that right there, and I'm gonna let's see. Let's see if I want to bring this out. If not, I'm gonna get straight to this video. Yeah, let me. This is the book of Second Ezra in the same book. This is chapter 6, and I'm gonna start at verse. Start at verse 22. "And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty." That's going into the famine. "And the trumpet shall give a sound, and when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. And that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and 3 hours they shall not run." All right. People is rising up against each other. You know, that's what's going on right now. So we're gonna start getting into these videos, getting into these breakdowns, getting into this news, getting into this content, and we're gonna be edified, right? And I got a lot of videos, man. And I'm trying to figure out where I want to start first. Let's start. Let's start internationally, right? Let's start with the seditions among men. Hey, so a little context, right? So in the UK, right, it's going down in the UK. It's going crazy. It's going bonkers in the UK right now. So you got I'm trying to think of the way that I haven't. So how it went down, right? You have okay, so you got protests and rioting going on in Bangladesh, right? So now you got some men from Bangladesh. They got into it in the UK. They had a different dispute about the government, one on one side, one for another side. They're on opposing sides, and then they clashed and started the whole thing, right? I think a couple of days later after that, so that started a riot. A couple of days after that, you had social services trying to take kids, and the community, they weren't going for it. That started civil unrest. The police came in, and the police made it worse. They erupted it, right. And then not too long after that, and it might have been even the same day, I might be wrong about that, you had the police get into it with a 19-year-old, and that started another riot. So the UK on fire right now. They on fire. And might literally, I think they did burn. I think they were started burning stuff, right? So that's what's going on right now. And then you see that see it being played out in the video. Hello. How are you? See, Caesar, I'm doing my show right now. You have to go back upstairs and wait on me to finish, okay? Okay, I'll talk to you later, okay? All right, bye-bye. See you later. Bye-bye. Can you go help mama, please? All right, thank you. So check it, man. This happened what, Monday? And as you can see, it don't look like they too much. It don't look like they too much care. They don't too much care. They going in. They going in. Honey. Honey. Yeah, man. Yeah. It's really going down. And not too long ago, maybe like last year, you had the same things going on in Venezuela, or was it Brazil? Somewhere in South America, it's the same things, right? We really in those times, we really in those days, right? This is this is the book of Second Ezra. I'm in the same book, man. Hey, Ezra was in the spirit. The book of Second Ezra. This is chapter 16, and I'm gonna start at verse. I start at verse 17. It says, woe is me, woe is me. So destruction, death, all of this pain and sorrow. That they said, woe is me. Who will deliver me in those days? Right? Because this right here ain't nothing to come. This ain't right here ain't nothing compared to what is gonna happen and the thing and what it's gonna look like. This ain't right. This right here. This ain't nothing but cotton candy. He says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? and it's a common theme because we keep seeing it. We keep seeing the same things, right? We keep it's like a cycle. The whole world feeling it, right? And it's gonna, and these events are gonna lead to the return of Christ, the return of Yahushua. So in Bangladesh, what started off as somewhat peaceful protests by students for job reform and equality from the government with the job quotas has turned into an uproar and has returned into a full government reform, right? They had the Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, I think that's how you pronounce name. I think she's been the Prime Minister since like 2009. They had her fleeing the country. She got up out of there. I think it's been over 100 deaths. They literally been burning the city. They ain't been playing no games over there.
Finally, freedom. We couldn't even vote for our president. Now we can do that. We lost our freedom of speech. We could not speak our mind. And today, you can see everyone is out here.
They saying that the war chant kind of go crazy.
To update, a quick reminder to those who are joining us right now, this is our breaking news coverage. Thousands of people have stormed the residence of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina in Dhaka, and protesters are demanding her resignation. According to local reports, this is what our correspondent was telling us a few moments ago. Sheikh Hasina has resigned. The 76-year-old Hasina ruled Bangladesh with an iron fist since 2009, but now she faces a deadly stalemate. An indefinite curfew has been imposed across the nation with the fears of more violence as hundreds of thousands of protesters are marching in the capital, Dhaka. Now, these protesters are among the largest Bangladesh has ever seen and represent the most serious challenge to Sheikh Hasina's 15-year rule. To update.
So, that them implementing that curfew, it's going to be the same. Hold on. Them implementing that curfew. I'm sorry, y'all. I got babies. Them implementing that curfew. It's gonna be the same thing that's gonna happen in America, right? Just like it said in the scriptures, a man is not going to be able to go into another place. Let me see. Let me get that again. It says, "And man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able to." Right? They enforcing like that martial law. These are things that are coming to pass, right? The world feeling it, man. You know what I'm saying? If it's not one thing, it's another. Don't forget about China and Taiwan. I think people forgot about that, about China and Taiwan. When what's the orange Republican? When he got shot at, they said that China was putting submarines, was crossing their submarines into American territory, U.S. territory. We got jets flying off the East Coast looking for Russian submarines that's in the Atlantic. They've been flying all over the East Coast, all through the Atlantic, trying to find these Russian submarines. If it's not war in one place, then it's civil unrest in that place. If it's not civil unrest, then it's war. If it's not either of those, then it's some kind of economic disruption, right? Let's get into that. Let's get into the economic disruption.
I'm gonna just be real honest.
Wrong video. My fault. Let me see.
If you live on planet Earth, this is going to be a very important video for you to understand. This is the volatility index. This gauges how risky the economy is and how much of a potential there is for collapse. It's up 122% in the last day and a half. It's above levels we haven't seen since COVID. Right here, this is 2020 when we found out COVID was happening and the economy was going to be just completely shut down. Now it just spiked to 52. This is a massive indicator. This tells the world that we are on the brink of a collapse and the global economies are crashing right now. Japan's stock market's down 12%. Europe's is down massively. The futures market for the United States.
That's what I'm saying. If it's not one thing in another place, it's another thing. You know what I'm saying? Like Japan, they had the low interest rates. That's where people will go, or countries will go, because they had the low interest rates. They go in, they go and exchange their money over there, and then they go and buy shares and buy stocks. And okay, if Japan messed up, then everything is thrown out of whack, man. Let me all right. Okay. This is the book. I'm in Second Esdras, man. I'm in Second Esdras heavy. This is chapter 14 of verse 10. It says, "For the world have lost his youth, and the times begin to wax old. For the world is divided into 12 parts, and the 10 parts of it are already gone, and half of a 10th part. And there remain of that which is after the half of the 10th part." So the world is waxing old. Wickedness has taken over. It's just a lot of stuff going on right now. I want to bring this out. Because I'm thinking, man, honestly, we know the Bible says, you know, that when they say peace and safety, destruction cometh after. A lot of people are talking, you know, just calm down, you know, everything's gonna reset, it's gonna work itself out. And you know, but you gotta be, if you know that these prophecies are gonna come to pass, and you have to prepare yourself that if they don't work out, because I don't think that they are going to work out. It's too much stuff going on right now for things to just reset and go back to normal.
Is down massively. And we go even further with this. This is the chart going back about 20 years. If you look, this was COVID. This is where we are today. This was the 2008 financial collapse. This was the housing market crash, that one that everybody talks about how horrible, the worst ever. It wasn't even that which was COVID and was right now. That tells you the brink of what's about to happen. Do you remember COVID? This is right up there above the COVID, but below the financial collapse of 2008. This was the tech bubble. This indicated all of these major things. So buckle up. It's about to get a little wild here in the United States and across the globe.
And across the globe. Okay, let's not stop there. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going.
So guys, this is freaking nuts. The stock market right now is getting destroyed. It's currently about 9 a.m. I woke up recently and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Of course, I saw the futures last night and now they've gotten even worse. I mean, guys, the NASDAQ is down 6% right now. S&P's down 4.5%. The Dow's down 3 to 4%. And what blew my mind is the VIX, guys. The VIX was up. It still is up 170%, which is nuts. You guys know, if you've seen the VIX, that is insane, right? So all of your favorite stocks, for the most part, are collapsing. Nvidia's down 13%. We have all the big tech names pretty much getting destroyed. There's only a couple of stocks in the Dow that are holding up. So guys, don't panic. Now is the time not to panic sell. This is like the 2020 time period all over again during the pandemic.
Yeah, that's what they saying. You know what I'm saying? That's what they saying. But it's not gonna fix itself like that. It's too much stuff going on. Right. I'm back in Second Esdras 16 and verse 19, it says, "Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. So the Most High is he's sending plagues on this place. He's sending plagues around the world. But the people, because judgment for an evil thing is not speedily given out. I think that's Ecclesiastes chapter 8, that, you know, people still continue in their wickedness. So yeah, of course, people are thinking, they're going on about with their daily life. They're just gonna keep doing the same thing. All right, let's keep it going. Okay, now let's look into this war. Let's look into the wars, right?
U.S. officials have confirmed that 12 U.S. warships are already deployed in the Middle East. This is the largest deployment of U.S. warships at par since the U.S. invasion of Iraq in 2003.
Right. All right, let's keep it going.
And right now, headlines coming out from the Mideast crisis right now from the New York Times says fears of a wider Mideast conflict deepen, with the United States seen as not in control. Right now, the world is saying the United States has lost control. Some big news coming out. The United States going to war with Iran. Now, a resolution for war to start has been officially introduced. I'm not looking at a news media source outlet right now. I am taking a look at congress.gov. This coming out officially from the Senate, from Congress, and this is linked in the description below. As you guys know, I cite all the sources for you so that way you can see it for yourself. At SJ Senate Joint Resolution 106. This is a joint resolution.
Listen, man, the Most High is bringing the Most High is bringing the war together. He's making it. He's the one that's creating and setting up this war. He's orchestrating it so that there is war, because that's how the end comes. The end is going to come through warfare, right? I'm back in Second Esdras, man. You can't get enough of Second Esdras. This is Second Esdras chapter 15. In verse 20, it says, "Behold, say of the Most High, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, and from the east, from Lebanus, to turn themselves one against another." You know how when the Israelites were in Egypt and Pharaoh couldn't let them go because he hardened his heart? That's how the Most High is. He's like making puppets, sending them to war against each other. He's saying to turn themselves one against another and repay the things that they have done to them. Like as they do yet this day unto my chosen, so will I do also in recompense in their bosom. Right? I'm gonna flip back a chapter, right? Second Ezra chapter 13. And I'm gonna start at verse 5. Second Ezra 13 and verse 5. It says, "And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea." So they're gonna come together to fight one another, and then they're gonna turn and they're gonna start fighting this man that come out of the sea, which is Christ. It says, "But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. But I would have seen the region, a place where out the hill was graven, I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together," it's like the Most High said, "I'm going to gather them together to fight against one another. They gathered themselves together to subdue him, were sore afraid, and yet does fight. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand nor sword nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests." That's that nuclear warfare. Those are bombs going off by the commandment of the Lord. He uttered it with his mouth. He says it with his lips, and it happens, right? I'm gonna continue to let this video play.
To authorize the use of the United States Armed Forces against the Islamic Republic of Iran for threatening the national security of the United States through the development of nuclear weapons. Now, this was just introduced just recently, maybe in the last 48 hours. So this is being introduced in Congress by Senator Lindsey Graham, who I let you guys know has been outraged with what has unfolded recently, just in the past couple days, as we saw the attacks on leaders of Hamas and Hezbollah. And now we're hearing that Iran is coming out and saying they're going to be holding the United States directly responsible for what has unfolded. Lindsey Graham coming out and saying no.
If you're not aware of what Iran is holding the United States responsible for, was the assassination of Hamas leader. I forget the guy's name, and they're over there. They have names I can't remember, but yeah, they're holding the United States responsible for that. So, along with Israel, because Israel is the one that assassinated bruh. Believe they killed him in a hotel when they were negotiating peace, something like that. So yeah, they want to get it back in blood, which I don't blame them.
This is twisted. We just ended the leaders of terrorist groups that were striking Israel. We are holding you accountable for allowing them to be funded. Lindsey Graham saying it is time for the United States to take action, introducing this resolution, essentially introducing the concept of the United States going to all-out war, defending ourselves against headlines coming out today, is holding the United States directly responsible, blaming the United States for what took place in Tehran with the strikes, as the United States is denying any involvement. Now, wait till you hear what comes out of this. Iran is now saying to the United States, either one of two things is happening here. Either you are lying to us or you are incompetent, your administration. And Israel is not confiding in you with the information of what it is that they are doing. And that means that you are losing control of what is taking place right now in the Middle East. And wait till you see what the world is saying about the United States right now. Headlines coming out today, this from the Times of India. Listen to this headline as what they are saying right now about the United States. The West's Mideast war nightmare. The United States and the European Union right now are going to Iran and pleading not to take revenge against Israel as they have lost control. This is what the headlines are coming out in other nations around the world. They are saying that the United States is not in control. They are incompetent. And
hey, that's a big issue. That's a huge issue, right? I gotta go get Obadiah, man. Saying the United States is incompetent. They are weak. They have fallen. They are struggling. This is an issue. This is big, right? But it's prophesied, man. This is the book of Obadiah, verse. It's only one chapter. Verse 6. It says, "How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hit things sought up?" Which you don't know, America, Europe and its countries in that union, they're all headed by Esau, right? Esau runs America. Esau is the leading authority in the government in America. Yes, they are an ethnic group of people. They would be the so-called white man in America, and all over the earth. It says, "All men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him." Saying, Obadiah is saying that Esau has become incompetent. The man that you were lead with, everybody carried your policies. Everybody carried your treasuries. The whole world traded in dollars. You were at a very high place and thought that it would continue that way. But now it seems that the rug is being snatched out from under you. Your chair is being snatched out from under you. And you're sitting on the ground and you're being made bare by all of these people who were in league with you. It says, Shall I not in that day, say of the Lord, even destroy the wise man out of Edom and the understanding out of Mount Esau? That's why Trump got to make this whole campaign, make America great again, because the Lord has destroyed the wise men out of Edom. Yeah, you think we have Bill Gates and what's the guy with the glasses that's buying all the farmland that wants to block out the sun, and all of these people and all these scientists, and we got iPhones now, and it don't mean nothing. We got a president that goes to sleep up on the podium, and we have he dropped out the race. We have a woman who they're arguing about her ethnicity instead of her policies. We don't need her to be president, candidate for president, but everybody's standing with her because she's a so-called black woman. Then we got Trump. If he gets in office, we for sure going to war. He has no relationship skills. He has no social skills. You know, it's all the wise men have been destroyed out. It says an understanding out of the mouth of Esau. That's what's going on right now.
They are essentially begging, groveling at the feet of Iran not to respond. A lot of breaking news coming out this evening, August the 2nd, 20.
Breaking news coming in from the Middle
You know
East.
I'm not even going to do that. I'm not even going to do that. But peep this. The stock market went down, right? The stock market went down. Stocks went down. All that type stuff. All right. We played the video. We watched it, right? You want to know what went up? You want to know what stock skyrocketed? Lockheed Martin. Lockheed. If you go on Google and just look at it, the stock for Lockheed Martin skyrocketed. What's Lockheed Martin?
Have you ever heard of Lockheed Martin? Nah. So Lockheed Martin is the main manufacturer for missiles, weapons in America. They are
the main manufacturer for missiles and military weaponry in America. The stock market supposedly crashed, plummeted, belly flop, but their stock rose, tripled, skyrocketed.
The company that gives
you don't think that World War III is here, you out your damn mind.
The government all our weapons. Okay. They're supposedly saying that Lockheed Martin has like a special group where they go out and retrieve crashed UFOs. And what they do is they'll take it and then they re-engineer it to make their own. What's also crazy is that the government don't know about it because they're afraid that the government takes it. So what they do is they keep it secret from the government. So they have their own military division, all that goes out and retrieves this stuff. And they also retrieve their own hovercrafts that they might have crashed. So imagine the best company that makes our weapons, what type of resource they have and what they're cooking up in them.
They're like always 30 years ahead of us.
Yeah, at least 30
My
years
brother
ahead.
was telling me because he was in the Air Force. He was like, their mask that they put on in the aircraft since like 2007. Like when you're in the cockpit, it's a clear window, but when it goes in now, all the lines and all the stuff you see in games and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know all the other stuff they talking about, but I just want you to know that Lockheed Martin is the manufacturer for military grade technology and weaponry for this country, and their stock has went through the roof. And with that said, we're gonna make a transition. Talking about war, right?
I'm going to just be real honest with this. She's a black woman.
It doesn't even matter. None of that matters. Why? Only because of that.
Because I would love to see a woman in office.
We're in 3 proxy wars
with
some of the most powerful leaders in the world.
That think we're incompetent
at the border, in which we have an estimation of 15 to 20 million people
already
illegally into this country. That is literally overtaking and bankrupting Chicago to the tune of over $400 million per year, and they are in a deficit.
Oh, Lord. What happened, Lord? Let me bring it back. I don't know what happened. I'm going to bring it back. I ain't want me to bring that up.
I'm going to just be real honest with this.
only because of that.
Because I would love to see a woman in office.
We're in 3 proxy wars with some of the most powerful leaders in the world. She failed at the border, in which we have an estimation of 15 to 20 million people illegally into this country. That is literally overtaking and bankrupting Chicago to the tune of over $400 million per year, and they're in a deficit. Oakland is going out of business. San Francisco ditto. California, $65 billion deficit. New York, they're literally cutting trash, in which they are the rattiest, dirtiest city, and they taking up resources as far as free.
This is why it's not going to recover. It's too much going on right now. The odds are too great against it. The country is not going to recover.
Free healthcare, free hotels to the tune of $600 a day. They're literally taking over your schools. Your taxpayer dollars are going to fund the migrant crisis. She was supposed to be in charge of this. We have a failing economy. Every single day I see people getting on the internet talking about $30 an hour is the new minimum wage because inflation is fucking out of control. At one point, it was at almost 10%, depending on what city that you were. She has no policy, no record to stand on. One of the biggest things that she did in her career was lock up more black men than ever before, but we sitting here and vote her in office on identity politics. The very person that she was under as far as the president of the United States of America, she called him racist during a debate, which shows you how fake she is. And the only thing that we can stand on from a policy perspective is whether or not she's black and she's a woman. We did that during the Obama.
Yeah, listen, man. I'm not telling you to vote for Trump. If you're an Israelite, you don't need to be voting for any of these devils. That would be breaking the commandments to put somebody who is not your people over you. But yeah, man, these are the things that you got to think about. And in the black community, we're simple. We're a simple people because we let things like somebody's race and their sex determine whether we're gonna vote for them. And I heard anything that they have said, right? And this is why that's why we destroy. This is the book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children. We reject knowledge. We don't want to hear anything about her policies. We don't want to hear anything about that. Give us simple stuff. My people are dumb, right? Yeah, follow me on TikTok, Real World Mod. Let's look at some more stuff. Now this is now okay. I had to bring out all the news stuff first because it was just so much stuff going on, man. It was just too fire to just put on the back end. I had to bring it out first. Now we're gonna transition to community issues type stuff, you know.
You think white people hate black people?
Yes.
Or they just don't understand this?
Hate us. They understand us. Nigga, they made us. They educate us. What you mean they don't understand us? They educate us. 95% of school teachers are white in America. What you mean they don't understand us? Most of them are our probation officers. Most of them are our judges. What you mean they don't understand us? They're reading our files. They know our history. They know our history better than we know it.
They don't understand the struggle, though. That's what I mean.
They do understand the struggle. They created it for us to struggle. They know what the struggle does to us. Believe me, we don't know. That's why we try to embrace the struggle like it's something. That's why we put the struggle over a middle class life. You didn't get it out the mud.
Yeah.
Nigga, they know we don't understand the struggle, nigga. Nah, homie, we got it wrong. They understand that you need a mother and a father to almost raise a successful child in this country. They understand that. They'll marry a fat white girl that'll stay home and nurture the kids, but she's fat. She's not fine. You see what I'm saying, nigga? They'll make sacrifices because we won't. We the ones who don't get it.
You think white people hate black people?
Yeah.
So check it. I don't agree with everything Charles and White say, but sometimes he be on point for a minute with his logic, right? He'll keep it 1,000 as far as how authentic, or I ain't gonna say authentic because that's authentic to him. As far as how accurate that 1,000 is, you know, that's up for debate. Brother don't keep no commandment, so but I will take his point on this, right? That's what the Bible says, right? Well, I'm gonna let some of this play.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or they just don't understand this?
Hate us. They understand us. Nigga, they made us. They educate us. What you mean they don't understand us? They educate us. 95% of school teachers are white.
He said they educate us. They made us. They developed us systematically into who we are. They have a role to play, right? All right. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start with this first. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. Just to back it all the way up. It says, "And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again." So the Lord is saying He's going to bring us into slavery again, because Egypt to Israelite who just came out of Egypt is the bondage, that hard servitude. The Lord said, "I brought you out of Egypt from the house of bondage, from the house of slavery, servitude, captivity." If you tell a slave who just got free from the South, "I'm gonna send you back to the South," nigga, that to him, you're gonna put me back in slavery, right? So it says, "Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies." So he said he's gonna put us into slavery on ships, and at that place we're gonna be sold to our enemies. Well, who bought us out? Who were we sold to when we got off those ships? All right. It says, for bondmen and bondwomen. So you're going to be sold to your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Nobody's going to be able to redeem you or save you out of this happening, right? So now we jump back to verse, because he said, you know, our education, we get it from them. This is verse Deuteronomy 28, same chapter, verse 48. It says, "Therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger." So anytime we want something to eat, we have to go get it from them. No matter if you make your own food, where you have to get the ingredients from. You got to get it from them. It says, "In hunger and in thirst, and for water, something to drink, and in nakedness for your clothing, for your for a home loan, all of that." It says, "And in want of all things." So if you get an education, you got to get it from them. Even your HBCUs, the curriculum is backed by what they say it is, right? You think they just donating money to these historical Black colleges and universities that so-called that have white people's last names? Yeah, do some research. Historical Black colleges and universities with white people last name, then they donating money just so you niggas can get an education, so you can be able to uprise on them, so you can be able to rebel against them. No, they're over that curriculum as well. Don't care about you niggas learning about Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman and the man that made the street lights. Who cares?
In America. What you mean they don't understand us? Most of them are our probation officers. Most of them are our judges. What you mean they don't understand us? They read.
Right. So I'm going to back it up a little bit more. This is the same book, Deuteronomy 28, verse 29. It says, "Thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore. No man shall save thee." You're going to only be oppressed. Why? Because your enemy is your judges. Your enemy is your governor. Your enemy is your police officer who's over you. It's crazy, man, how the Bible unfolds. But you know, that's what we got. That's the things that we're dealing with So this is the issue, right? This is the issue. Sirach chapter 12 verse 10 says, "Never trust thy enemy, for like iron rusteth, so it is wickedness." So it don't matter how long of a time or how goody they act with you, everything is not cordial. At one time or another, as iron rusteth, it takes time. In other certain circumstances, it's going to rust. So will your enemy, right? All of these things happen to us because we broke the commandments and we didn't keep the Lord's covenants. The solution is that we come back to the Lord and we repent and we keep his commandments. The Lord will hear our prayers and the Lord will save us, right? Let me get this. This is Isaiah chapter 34. And I think it's verse 16. That's what the day of the Lord is all about. It's not about the Lord coming back and saving. Nope, it's Isaiah 38. One second. Give me 1 second. I have to look it up. It was 34. Hey man, it be like that sometimes. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 34 and verse 8. "For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance and the year of recompense for the controversy of Zion." The Israelites, they are Zion. And for the controversy, for the hate, for the oppression of his people. That's the day of the Lord. That wrath, that fierce anger is going to be all about his people. But it's not all his people. Like in Romans 9, it says, "Not all Israel is Israel, but the Lord has a remnant that came back to him," a remnant that repented. And 2/3 of the people were cut off. 2/3 of his people will be cut off. But hey, that's a lesson for another day. But that's the solution. We got to turn back to the Lord. All right, now check this out. In the midst of war, in the midst of World War III, in the midst of economic collapse, in the midst of civil unrest, in the midst of sedition among men, and in the midst of these things that are about to come, this is what my people are doing.
Are y'all ready to talk about it now? Black people, are y'all fucking ready to talk about it now? My followers know for a fact I've been talking about Lil RT for the fucking longest and the bullshit that grown-ass people...
If you don't know, Lil RT is an Atlanta-based rapper. The little nigga like 9. He not in school. He can barely talk. He's not articulate, and he has a bunch of grown people that are pushing him to do this.
Have been allowing him and encouraging him to fucking do and say. Going on these 20v1 videos with grown-ass fucking adults, and now they got other little kids on that shit too. And this motherfucker said that shit to a little girl dancing? Oh, let's not forget the 26-year-old black woman out here dating a fucking 19-year-old. There are...
Correction, bro, the dude she dating 16.
Black people in our community that are quietly normalizing pedophilia. That shit is unacceptable.
Yeah, man, that's what's going on, man. Now you know why it says the people have to be destroyed, right? The Most High said, he said he made the wicked just for the day of judgment, just so they can be destroyed, right? And a lot of our people got to be destroyed. It don't matter that you're an Israelite. It don't matter that you know you're an Israelite. If you're not repenting and you're not getting away from this wicked shit that's going on right now, I'm like, this man may seem like a nice guy on the outside, he got a clean beard and braids, and he's saying, but in his heart, this man is evil as hell because he uses these children to make gain. It's just not right. All right, let's transition again. let's transition again. So one of the things that I've been addressing lately is sin. People do not know what sin is. Point blank. People don't know what sin is. Hey, shalom, y'all. Hey, forgive me for not paying attention to the comments and everything, man. Forgive me. I'm getting better at maneuvering through this, right? But people don't know what sin is. The first thing they do when you ask them what sin is, they just Google sin, or they look at the etymology of the word sin, which means to miss the mark. Okay, because the Bible gives a clear definition. Sin is blank. Sin is this, that, and this, and this, and that, and this, and that, and that's sin, and that's sin, and that's sin. People say sin is when you miss the mark. What's the mark? It's when you falling short of God's glory. What is God's glory? What am I falling? Where is the measuring stick to show me that this is what I'm falling short of? I need concrete answers. If my salvation is determined on my sin, then I need a definite answer of what sin is. And the majority of people, I'm going to say 90% of people who own the Bible and say their religion goes back to the Bible, do not know what sin is. And the videos I'm about to show is gonna be clear. Let's start off with the bozo.
The word blood does not mean blood that leaks out when you cut yourself. It means the inner energy, the inner life force. Okay? The inner life force.
Now, how the hell you come up with that? I don't know.
In most of us, the inner life force is the ego. Okay, the desire force. And that's why it's said. See, what's the word sin? Religion makes sin drinking, smoking, gambling, and all of that stuff. It has nothing to do with sin. None of that is sin. Sin is the name of the moon god of Ur of the Chaldees, and it
Sin is the name of the moon. You know, sin is an English word, and in the land of the Chaldees, whatever they call it, their moon god, that wouldn't be the English word for sin. But you see, he got a damn dry erase board and glasses on, and he got a collar shirt. So people are so dumb. Yeah, they definitely gonna listen to him.
means emotion. It's the emotions. Okay? So the Bible said, without the shedding of blood, there is no remission of sin, which means without the shedding of your inner life force, your inner ego, your inner desire, you're never going to get away from the control that the emotions have over your mind.
I want to just hear that one more time.
Your inner ego, your inner desire, you're never going to get away from the control that the emotions have over you.
You had to do all that. You had to do all that just to say that. You had to do all that just to, like you could have just read that plain. Like, this is confusing as hell. And I bet it's people in the back just nodding their head like they really understand it. Like, for the remission of sin. Look at this. Look at this comment. Bill Donahue saved my life. Is that who the hell this is? Save your life. Teaching this madness and confusion. For the remission of sin, blood. When sin happens, the Lord requires blood. He's talking about that's the blood is the inner energy. The Lord requires the inner energy. No, the Lord requires something to be put to death. For the remission of sins, the Lord requires something to be put to death. Like, this is crazy. I'm not even going to finish watching this just for the sake of time and for the sake of everybody's conscience.
The Bible tells us that those that are truly believers do not make a practice of sin because God's seed abides in them. So what does it mean to make a practice of sin? Let me explain it like this. According to the Bible, there are at least 3 levels of sin. That's sin, transgression, and iniquity. Okay?
Hey, man, beware of people that teach without making reference and reading the Bible, and especially if they hold in their hands like this, and they got like the Hebrew tattooed on their neck. This is crazy.
Sin simply means falling short. Transgression
Falling short of what?
is whenever you purposely and intentionally sin, which leads you into the last one, iniquity. Now, Jesus said that some sins are greater than others. He told Pilate, the one that handed me over has the greater sin, which shows, of course, there's lesser sins. Nevertheless, what are these sins? Well, sin just simply means falling short. Falling short of the glory of God. Everybody does that. Saved, not saved, you're going to fall short of the glory of God every day. However, you get to the next level, which is transgression. Transgression is whenever you purposely transgress against the things that God has said. But then that brings you into iniquity, which is all out perversion. And that's the level which it's dangerous, because that's when God can give you over to a reprobate mind. That's what you see going on in the world today. And a reprobate mind, iniquity, is an expression of a portion of the blasphemy of the Holy Spirit.
Man, listen, man. Oh my goodness. There is no three levels. There is no three levels of sin. There is no sin. Oh, sin is when you just mistakenly do it, and then transgressing is when you do it on purpose, and then you keep transgression. It's iniquity. All those mean the same thing, bro. This is crazy, man. Let's get the definition of sin first off, because sin is not missing the mark. Missing the mark does not help me understand anything. What is the damn mark? This is 1 John 3 and 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. Now you have people that say, well, the law is done away with, and they just don't understand the Bible whatsoever. If sin exists, then that means the law exists, because sin is the law is the measuring stick to determine if you sinned or not. Right? Let's go get an example. Go get another witness. Matter of fact, did that verse just say transgress? Did he? Sin is the transgressing of the law. Did he say that transgression is something is a level 2 of sin? Hey, beware of people with thick glasses on and not just blonde tip dreads, just with whole highlighted dreads from the root. The dye the dye is messing up this man's cohesiveness. This is the book of 1 Samuel chapter 15 and verse I started at verse 24. So, little context. The Lord told Saul to kill all of the Amalekites. He said, don't leave any women, any children, any men, not an animal, nigga. You better not nothing. Don't kill everything up in there. Saul kept the animals because he wanted to sacrifice the animals, but that's not what the Lord told you to do. You can't do evil that good may show. Say, oh, the Lord gonna like it if I keep the animals for him. People do the same thing with Easter. The Lord said, don't celebrate things like Easter. He said, celebrate the past. So what? Easter is the resurrection, and we're just doing this in the name of Christ. You can't do evil that good may show. No. Okay. Saul didn't obey. Samuel told him that you really messed up. I started at verse 22. And Samuel said, have the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord. So the Lord likes the fat of rams and sacrifices, but he'd rather you be obedient. It says, behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. For rebellion is as a sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. It's the same thing. Sin is breaking God's laws. Iniquity is breaking God's laws. Right? Somebody even put it in the chat. In the thing said, sin is transgression of the law. Yet people say it means miss the mark. It's more than that, and the law is not done away with. Amen. You know, every once in a while we have somebody with some understanding. I'm reading on. Verse 24, and Saul said unto Samuel, I have sinned, for I have transgressed the commandment of the Lord. people stop listening to people that don't know what the hell they talking about. And it's a lot of people out here that don't know what they're talking about. That's why the Bible says you got to study to show yourself approved. Because if you're not studying in the word, then you have no idea what's going on. You have no idea what's going on. Nothing. Anybody can just say anything to you and you believe it, right? But yeah, man, I'm trying to keep it under an hour, you know, for the sake of people having things to do on a Thursday night. But I appreciate everybody that came and got edified, got caught up on the news and things, man. I'm thankful that I'm able to do this. So, you know, shout out to you, shout out to the men and the women of the Lord, everybody who is repenting, taking this life and this walk seriously. This is not a trend, this is a lifestyle. Oh man, doing the work and whatnot, man. But it's the time to be fasting, it's the time to be praying, it's the time to be getting your house in order and getting your souls right, because the time is very short and we're very near. But with that being said, I am Saul R. The Saints advocating law and truth. Hey, Tabernacles is coming up. We're gonna be keeping Tabernacles with Iron Horn of Zion, with the brothers of Iron Horn of Zion. Shit, I am in Iron Horn of Zion, but we're gonna be keeping Tabernacles with the brothers of Iron Horn of Zion. We got a reserved location, some nice land, keeping the Lord's commandments. You know, so if you want that, if you want to come join us, we're gonna be in Alabama. Send us an email and be looking out for the flyers. Matter of fact, next time I drop a video or lesson, we'll be posting the flyers with the information, the contact info. But yeah, I ate the water, everybody, and shalom.